Safiye Sultan was one of the most influential women in the Ottoman Empire. Her story unfolded during the time known as the Sultanate of Women, a period when women of the royal family held significant power in the empire. She was the Haseki Sultan, the most important wife of Sultan Murad III, and played a pivotal role in both the harem and political affairs. After Sultan Selim II passed away, his son Murad III ascended to throne. Safiye and her children quickly traveled to the capital, Constantinople, to settle by his side. Murad immediately gave Safiye the prestigious title of Haseki Sultan. However, this new life in the capital also meant that Safiye would have to navigate the complex dynamics of Murad's harem, where his mother, Murad Sultan, held considerable power. Murad, as Valide Sultan, the mother of the Sultan, ruled over the palace and the royal family. Safiye, while highly favored by Murad, had to live under Murad shadow, especially in the early years of Murad's reign. Though there were tensions in the harem, there was no open conflict between the two women at first. Safiye, however, had bigger ambitions. As the mother of princes, it was only natural for her to seek political power. Yet, Murad did not appreciate Safiye's growing influence over Murad. She saw Safiye as a threat to her own position, as she had a deep, loving relationship with her son, and she resented Safiye's attempts to gain a say in state matters. At that time, Murad was isolated in the harem, and, torn between his love for his mother and his wife, he allowed both women to have significant influence over him. This created a tense power struggle within the palace. Safiye had been Murad's only concubine before he became sultan, and they maintained a monogamous relationship for several years after his ascension. However, Murad, eager to ensure the dynasty's survival, advised Murad to take more concubines. By 1580, Murad had only one surviving heir, Mehmed, his son by Safiye. Murad, suspecting that Safiye had used magic to make Murad impotent and prevent him from taking new concubines, accused her of practicing witchcraft. Murad, who believed in witchcraft and astrology, was deeply disturbed by these accusations. As a result, Safiye's friends and servants were imprisoned, tortured, and executed, and Murad sent Safiye into exile to the Eski Saray, Old Palace. While in exile, Murad took new concubines and fathered many children, some sources suggesting more than 50. Despite this, Safiye showed no jealousy of Murad's new concubines. In fact, she even helped him find more women for his harem, earning his gratitude. He continued to consult her on political matters, particularly after the death of Murad Sultan. After Murad's death, Safiye returned to the Topkapi Palace. By then, she was more determined than ever to gain power. She began to directly intervene in state affairs and became an important political advisor to Murad. Safiye's influence grew even more when she built a strong network of allies, including the chief eunuch Ghaznfer Aga, and used this network to influence Murad's decisions. During this time, Safiye continued Murad's pro-Venice policy, aligning herself with Venetian interests. Safiye's support for Venice was an important aspect of her political strategy. By the time Murad died in 1595, Safiye had secured her place as one of the most powerful women in the empire. When her son Mehmed III became sultan, Safiye took on the role of Valide Sultan, the mother of the sultan, which gave her even more authority to control much of the political and social affairs of the empire. She had a personal fortune that was 3 times the size of the sultan's, and she was the final authority on appointments and dismissals within the court. Her political influence, however, came with its challenges. While she managed to secure many of her ambitions, her meddling in state affairs eventually led to rebellions and unrest among the soldiers and people. Even her son, Mehmed III, tried at one point to limit her influence, briefly exiling her from the palace. However, Safiye had built an extensive support network, and she returned to the palace after just 5 weeks, continuing to exert power from behind the scenes. When Mehmed died, Safiye's political power diminished, as her grandson, Sultan Mehmed I, took the throne. Safiye was once again sent to Eski Saray, where she lived in retirement, no longer involved in the political affairs of the empire. She remained there until her death after 1619 and was buried in the tomb of her husband, Sultan Murad III, at the Hagia Sophia.